Hello, welcome back to another episode of Teed Up. I'm your host, Tyler Rothrock, still here, still running the show at my own program. So if you ever tune in and it's somebody else hosting this show, know that something bad has happened to me or I've been fired from my own show. Either way, I don't know if that's possible, but anything's possible with me. Anything is possible. This week we got a fun episode. Got to catch up with a comedy buddy from New York, my buddy Pete Mutino. We've done a lot of stuff together over the years. I haven't seen him in a long time. Haven't seen him since the pandemic. I know he used to work at a golf store. We talk a little bit about our shared war stories from working at a retail golf store. And then we talk a little bit about comedy. It's U.S. Open week, Winged Foot in New York, which is kind of cool because it's cool that they're even having it due to how much of a hot spot that place was for the coronavirus early on. So I don't know. It's going to probably be very hard. The scores are going to be high. They're already seeing early reports how crazy the rough's going to be right off the fairway. So I don't know. They're going to probably be looking like me out there, which is going to be fun. But I don't know. I don't necessarily need to see pros struggle. I like it. I like to see them have a tough time, but I don't know. Sometimes, it can't be too hard. I don't like to see them struggle too much. I think that might contradict the thing I've said previously, but I've thought more about it. They are pros. I like to see them, go low, but also it's kind of fun every now and then to see somebody take some hacks out of the rough and not get there and they're on TV. I guess they did that. Barstool did that thing where the El Presidente guy did. He played Shinnecock that U.S. Open year, and I'm always curious to see what I would score at. Like, what would I shoot at Winged Foot? I'm saying like 250. But if I even got to finish, I think I'd lose every ball. I think that's what would happen. So I wouldn't be able to finish. I just lose every single ball. But I'm most curious. So Winged Foot or next U.S. Open, if you ever want a 10 handicapper to come see how good they would do, call your boy. Call your boy up. All right, let's get right to the episode. We have a pretty good long conversation. It's pretty fun. So tune in to my chat with good buddy Pete Mutino. All right. Well, oh my God, we are excited here. This is a blast from my past. Yes. My New York City comedy comedian.
Yes.
Pete Mutino is with us on Teed Up. Pete, thanks for I don't know, you're in Brooklyn right now?
I am in Brooklyn right now in scenic Bushwick.
How are things during the pandemic?
They were scary, man. At the beginning, it was bad. Like March, April, they were literally like refrigerated trucks. Like my front like windows kind of look over at the street, and we're right next to like one of the hospitals here, and there were like refrigerated trucks up the block and stuff. It was nuts. It was bad. But I mean, since then, it's really turned around. Yeah. Now you wouldn't even know there's a pandemic going on, and basically just so I could like get out of the city because like during the pandemic, there's like nothing else to do in New York. So I ended up doing like a long-term rental on a car, so I could like go visit like family if needed and stuff like that. And I like drove down to like South Brooklyn and stuff like that. And I feel like in like the more like neighborhoody spots of Brooklyn, like they're actually like respecting the virus a lot. But like Bushwick, like where I lived in like fucking like hipsterville, like gentrified hipsterville, it's like people like don't give a shit. They're like, okay, so basically we can't drink in the bar. So now just it's New Orleans here. Like people are
yeah. Are they getting trendy with their masks in hipster Brooklyn?
You think that would be like trendier? You see a lot of the scarf thing going on. Like, I can bust out my PLO scarf, and that's like my look for the day. I feel like they're good about masks. It's just like the social distancing thing I'm gonna fuck about. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
You'll get yelled at if you don't have a mask, but then you see like a crew of like 30 people hanging out, like drinking on the street with like their babies in their arms.
Yeah. But we have masks on.
It's crazy. Yeah. Exactly.
But you spent some time up in Maine, right? And kind of had access to some golf up there.
Yeah, that's where I we found the love again. which is nice.
You in golf, because you in New York, you don't get to play.
I don't really. So my folks live about like an hour outside of the city in Connecticut. So I've always just left my clubs there because usually like over the summer I'd go up a few times a year and hit the courses up there. I'd take like a weekend and play with like my dad one day, like on a Saturday, on like Sunday, go out by myself. Because I know when you lived here, you hit the courses a lot. I just like, I don't know. What's funny? On the way up to Maine, I passed Trump Links. Like,
oh hell yeah, nice.
There. It looks like Afghanistan. Not even in a disrespectful way. It just looks like Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's really ironic.
Like, there are a lot of like weird bushes that like I don't understand growing on it.
Yeah,
very tacky looking. But
did you play public golf up in Connecticut? Are you a private golf kid?
Public. My parents.
Right.
My parents, I remember, like try to get it on a waiting list for a club. They thought that was going to be like the next big thing. But then I think they realized it's like, why would you spend money on that? So they kind of backed out of that. And I don't know. I don't know. You were public, yeah, or did you?
Yeah, public.
You have a club, yeah. I had friends of being in Connecticut. I mean, in Southern Connecticut, I grew up around some very rich people, so I got to play at some crazy nice clubs.
Yeah.
It's funny. Actually, my grandpa's a golfer, and he's kind of like a bad guy. He's like my family still like loves him. Like we might even go like say hi to him tomorrow for Memorial Day. But he's like kind of like a sociopath, kind of like teeters on that. I have no problem saying that. He belongs to one of the nicest country clubs in Greenwich, Connecticut. So like top of the pops. You know, he's like a former like high powered Manhattan.
Those high end country clubs are full of psychopaths.
Oh my god, insane! But like
majority psychopath ownership membership.
Yeah. This kid who my brother was friends with, though, like his dad was a member of that club, and like he used to take us there, and he just like didn't give a shit. The kid was like an alcoholic. He already ate like 19, and he would take us there all the time. And I remember my dad would be like furious because he was like, he's like, you get to play there like once a week. My own father hasn't taken me there. But it was like a whole family drama thing. So golf, I think that's about. I think he gets more angry actually playing the game than
golf is supposed to pull people together. And it's doing the opposite for the Mutino family. Yeah,
exactly. Well, it's fine. I even went out with my brother last week in Maine, and we go out there with like, it's like, yeah, we're gonna have a great day. We're gonna hit the course, and if he was having a bad day, like on the course, not shooting well, and it's like immediately, starts getting angry, like little side remarks. But I think I like the sport because it's like unless you really have the time to commit to it, like it's a game no one's really good at.
Right.
Unless you're top of the pops, it's like you're going to have a bad day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how, I mean, I played golf when I would play golf with my dad. It never lasted 18 holes. It rarely lasted 18 holes. Usually we'd leave.
Where it's like, we're picking up.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I can't be around you anymore. Like, club would break. And it wasn't him, it was all me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, golf is the perfect sport for like the small like shit talking. Like if you're playing like football or basketball, you there's shit talking, but it's like loud and in your face type of stuff.
Yeah,
like golf, it's like passive aggressive. Like, oh, that was a good shot, man. Good shot.
And it's like per play. Yeah. And like I feel like it's worth. Like I feel like you told someone that sucked and they knew it sucked, they wouldn't care. Right. It's more like the kind of, even if you're not trying to be passive aggressive, you sound like it. Where it's like like it's like, oh, maybe you should use like a 9-iron on that.
What'd you hit there? 8? Oh, I hit a 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's my least favorite. That's I think, and that's the other thing that's cool about golf, especially, and I don't like with men because like there's like that bunch of big dicking going on, right? Because it's all about what you're hitting off the tee box, how far it's going. Like if you just play the game that you have, you'll have a better time. But if you're next to somebody like at a par 3 and they have a 9-iron, you're like, I can't hit this 6-iron. Like whatever, a little baby, Yeah.
Do you have like high irons in your bag? I think there's always a testament if like someone's like a true like stud golfer. If you can hit
I do. I have a 3-iron
reliably. And can you hit it?
I like my 3-iron.
Yeah. And it goes like discernibly further than like a 4?
Yeah. Like if I'm having I'm messing up with my driver, I'll just hit either like a 3-wood or a 3-iron off the tee.
Yeah. With woods I get all day, but like you can't hit like, so I used to work at a golf store and like I used to sell clubs.
I want to get into that too. I want to get into your golf store.
Oh, hell yeah. But I remember like, it was always like guys like would come in who looked rich as fuck, but were like 100 years old, and they were like 8 irons.
Yeah.
I was like, is this like a money thing? Is it just like a period piece thing? And then they'd like hit the virtual driving range in there, and they'd just be like fucking drilling a 2 iron, like a blade set, like no forgiveness at all. They'd just be hitting like Titleists, like through like driving it, which is so cool. Like I always wish I had that.
You don't. What kind of clubs do you have?
I have TaylorMades. They were a gift, which I like. But from my golf club experience selling days, what I've always wanted is Mizunos. I've always wanted
that's the
most forgiving, but well-made clubs. I love Mizuno because they only make that and like baseball mitts.
yeah.
Like,
That's I've been Mizuno. I've been Team Mizuno since I've been in high school.
Really? Yeah. I always wanted some. I mean, like the thing with the irons, it's like once you have them, it's like they last forever. So it's kind of wasteful to like unless you really want to upgrade and like resell them.
Yeah, especially if you have like forged irons, like there's not much technology that can go into like making a solid piece of iron different. But like there's all that game improvement shit. I don't know. When did you work in a golf store?
That was the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of college. So I was like 19 years old.
In Connecticut?
In Connecticut, yeah.
A rich ass Connecticut. You worked in a golf store.
Yeah, in like a shitty like kind of town in Connecticut. I mean, like had nice parts, but it was like kind of like more in an industrial kind of like lower income area. So you'd have the rich people come through, but then like the people I worked with were like fucking just like stoner fucking like towny kids. Like, probably like haven't touched a golf club ever in their life except for like at the driving range for fun. We used to like we had like all the abandoned clubs, and even sometimes we take like the new clubs. Like we used to go. There was a mini golf course in that like part of town. We used to take like Scotty Camerons and like go like like $1 a hole like on that. And they were even like for mini golf. Scotty Camerons rock. It's just something you're doing this with, but for some reason, like if the face is different, it hits differently.
It's just the weighting of it. So much.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like I've always I really should upgrade my putter because I feel like that's why I fail all the time because I have like an antique putter that I like. It just looks so cool though. It's a paint from like the 50s.
Right.
It's like an old like I think it's copper. Like it's like oddly heavy on the front, but like the shaft is incredibly light. And it just looks cool. Like and you think like putter, you'll figure out the feel of it. But like I think upgrading your putter is worth it.
Yeah, definitely. But that putter's probably worth like $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Traded in at the copper.
It's worth $1,000 though.
When you worked at the golf store, like that, because that's kind of why I wanted to even start this whole podcast. Like, because I've been working in golf for a long time.
I remember I visited you at the Manhattan. Yeah.
Everybody and you, because the misconception is like, if you work in golf, you're probably like a snobby like rich person.
Oh yeah, no.
But everybody I've ever met that worked in the golf industry is like a raging degenerate.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, unless you're like, I guess, like a caddy or something.
Even the caddies though, but they're like drinking and
yeah. Well, that's what I love about the sport. It's like you can't play a game of pickup basketball where you're like crushing 3 Trulies and getting a chili cheeseburger after. You know what I mean? That's like what I love about it. But I love a lot of things, but that's one of them. But yeah, no, it's so true though. Like the golf store, it's like it's like, no one's gonna like do a highfalutin job, have a highfalutin sort of attitude for like $10 an hour.
Right. So, do you have any like coworkers that like what's something weird that you got into at the golf store?
Dude, okay, so that place was crazy. You could write like a freaking like a Michael Cera type movie like around it. Most of them were like stoners from the local area. There were 2 white kids named Gerard and Justin, but they went by G and Juice because they like rap. They like thought that they were like black people.
Was that on their name tag? Was Juice on his name tag?
No.
Oh, God,
but it was crazy. But we had like multiple managers. This one guy, Dan, who was a manager, like I remember Juice like didn't stop showing up one day, and he was like, and as opposed to Justin, he was like, Justin or Juice, as you may remember him, is unfortunately not going to join us this week. Like it was very they like respected the rap names, and then literally everyone in there was like a retail like hack. You know what I mean? It's like notwithstanding, just like weird kind of transient sort of people. But except our club maker was this guy named Frank. And he was like this old Italian guy, and literally like customers would like leave the store half the time because they're like, that guy like yelled at me. Like literally the guy was like, where are my clubs? He would like here's your fucking club, you piece of shit. Like for a club, he'd like throw it at him, like snap something in half. But apparently he was like amazing. He was like a about making clubs. You like did this like kind of for fun retirement, which I think is the fucking dream. If you could like just be like a retired guy who knows a craft and you don't even need the money anymore, and you're just like you don't like the way a guy's talking to you, you just like tell him to go fuck himself. But
right, yeah.
Specialty gig that they can't replace you right away. Dream.
Yeah, that's the ultimate sign of power. If you think about it.
Yeah.
But then because there's people that I've worked with that are like they have like legitimate money and they're retired. They don't need the job, but they still have to deal with the customers, which is like, why would you subject yourself to this?
Yeah, unless you just like don't care. You know?
Yeah.
You actually, if someone is annoying you, just tell them to go fuck themselves. Like, that's pretty awesome. You know, working retail is like minus the customer service is probably a great job. You know what I mean? Dude,
that's why, during the pandemic, like the golf store because I do a couple days a week at a golf store here. And during the pandemic, I wasn't doing anything, but the people, my friends from the store, there was no customers, but they were still doing like shipping stuff from the store. Like, this is the best gig of all time.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like no customers and just like kind of, And then you're just hanging out with like people who are like similarly minded.
Like you hit a couple balls like in the simulator when you're bored. Ship a couple things.
Were you working there before like all the COVID stuff?
Yeah.
Shifts there. What would you say? Like, do you notice a big difference in like I mean, you must, right? Manhattan versus Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I mean, the difference would be, the volume. We probably do more volume out here, but the store's bigger. But also, like, the money is just way like. In Manhattan, people would drop $20,000. Yeah,
without even thinking about it. A whole new set of irons. Like, whatever club you recommend, I'm buying it. Yeah,
this guy came. I don't know if I told the story on this, but this dude, this Asian guy came in, and he was like, "I want the best clubs." He just like wasn't from America. He just was here on a tourist thing, and he's like, "I want the best clubs," and I was like, "All right, well, here, look at these." I think it was Callaway, whatever they were, and he goes, no, I want the best. And Hanma, I don't know if you're familiar with Hanma.
I don't know Hanma.
It's like Japanese club, like they make clubs. Mm-hmm. There's this, it's called a 5-star. There's gold in it. It's 5-star series. There's like just gold in it, and they're like
head and like
like in the head, like, okay. And they're like 8,000. I forget what the total was for the iron because he bought like a bag. He bought everything possible.
Gold? Does the gold help in any way?
No, it doesn't help anything. It just makes it look cool.
Does it show up? Like it glimmers a little bit?
Yeah, you can see. But it could also be. Ridiculous. It would look the same as if it was like painted gold.
Yeah,
you could just lie about that. And he bought 2 sets for like the total was like $28,000. And he just rang his card. Never played golf. He didn't even play golf. It's a different world.
It's also weird too. It's like you're in Manhattan. It's like where you gonna go golfing? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, if you're super rich, you could play golf in Manhattan. It's not hard to play golf in Manhattan.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, because you're either like a car service away, or there's a couple. Like I think Trump Ferry Point is right there.
Yeah.
But if you're like a commoner like us, playing golf in Manhattan is like impossible.
Yeah. I lived in Manhattan for like 6 years. Like, didn't play once, and I still haven't played in the city. I live in Brooklyn now, and it's like I still like
That's the whole time I lived there. I never had my clubs at my apartment. I just kept them in Pennsylvania.
I almost feel ashamed because I'm in like such like hipsterville, like like here, like when I bring it in and out to the car, like I almost feel like I'm gonna like someone's gonna like throw paint on me while I'm doing like fucking fashion.
Yeah.
You know,
so that was the worst part about working at a golf store in Manhattan, because like I was like as low on the rung of people working in Manhattan. Like I worked at 40th and Park.
Yeah,
but there's no way that I didn't have the lowest income in that on that block.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So
Midtown. Yeah.
Like number one, I would have to go to like all the lunch like places were like Chopped and like these boutique restaurants
like,
where
for like the business crowd.
Yeah. It's like $30 for a sandwich, and those guys are like fine, but I'm like, this is everything I'm making today.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours of my paycheck.
Yeah, but then I would have to deliver. Like they would buy these expensive clubs, and then I would deliver them to their brownstones. So I would be like on the train with these like $2,000-$3,000 sets of golf clubs, dressed like a golfer because I work at a golf shop, and people would be like, look at this rich asshole. going to golf while we're slaving away. And it's like, dude, I'm dropping these clubs off at a rich guy's house.
Oh my god! I almost feel like I would want like one of those like fucking like seamless vests. Like, I just feel like, dude, these aren't mine.
These aren't my clubs.
Yeah. Please.
I feel like after looking at me for long enough, you could tell that they're not my clubs. Like, you were like, that guy's haircut.
I don't know.
That's a supercuts haircut.
Did you ever see it like in Manhattan, like where like people would come in and like not like a rich guy like yourself, but did you ever get like lunatics in there who just like
that was I never forget. We went and it was like the chairman of Caterpillar, the company,
like the construction.
Yeah. Like he was. I forget what country he's the chairman, and he was in like getting fitted and buying a set of clubs, like high net worth guy, like where we were like catering to him very close.
Sure. Yeah.
And this dude came in off the street and just started hitting clubs in the simulator. And he had his shirt off, and he's just some crazy dude sweating everywhere with his shirt off. And I had to go over and be like, yo, you got to put your shirt on. And he like came at me, and we're having this like back and forth in front of the chairman of Caterpillar. And it was just like this crazy worlds colliding where this guy, he's a homeless man.
Yeah.
A crazy homeless man standing next to the chairman of Caterpillar. And he has to deal with he's like,
so do you.
What the hell is going on? You know what I mean? What kind of shop are you guys running?
Well, though, I think there would be something awesome and just like a homeless guy comes in on the streets and just like is driving it,
dude, it was so great. He's like, and he was in there for like an hour, drenching sweat, shirt off, like it was just insane. It was insane, but yeah, you get crazy people just to come in.
I feel like on a public course, you should be able to go shirtless.
Those rules have to change, right? Like I was thinking about that.
Like, why is the dress code still a thing?
Yeah, why do I have to wear a collared shirt or tuck my shirt in?
I understand if you're like on a team or doing it professionally and a league has to establish a standard, but otherwise it's like, why do I need to have a collared shirt? Like, why does that matter?
Yeah, where's etiquette has been removed from every other facet of society.
Yeah.
Why do I have to at a municipal golf course?
In basketball, you get to wear a fucking wife beater. You know what I mean? Professional level, and you're inside in an air conditioned area. Meanwhile, you're like out in the sun for golf.
I think the PGA Tour, you should be able to drink.
Yeah,
I think they should be able to
It'd be awesome. They have like drinking stats. It's like truly, and we know from he has like a power stats there.
It's another opportunity for sponsorships. I think they're missing the boat, Pete. Yeah. Are you playing a lot now?
A lot, this summer because like COVID, that's all there is to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Restaurants aren't open, bars aren't open. And like most parks, like social distancing is hard to enforce, but like golf, they actually have it down to a T. But like, you know what I mean? They can actually you go out in groups. It's like the sport is kind of built to be safe, and like literally the only thing they need to figure out with the pins, and they figured that out within a week.
Yeah, that was easy to do. It's just like, hey, don't pick your ball out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Just flip it with the thing, which frankly I kind of like better. You don't have to reach it. You know what I mean?
Are you a pin in guy?
What's up?
Before this happened, were you a pin in putter or did you take the pin out?
I usually would take it out just because
that was the rule for that rule just changed where you it's not a 2-stroke penalty because you used to not be able to putt it. If the pin was in and you hit the stick, it's a 2-stroke penalty. Now that's
if you're playing super hard. That's the thing. As a kid, I used to be super I was almost on the spectrum about rules like that. It's like, no, if it hit that, blah blah blah. But you're playing casually. It's like, do you really have to play to the lateral hazard? If it's in there, I'm going to take a club and try and chop it out of there.
Yeah, that's this summer. I just started playing matches again, and it's always an indicator of the person you're playing a match with, whether it's a friend or somebody, how serious they take. You're gonna have to drop there, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
This is a $5 Nassau. We're not getting rich or poor.
Exactly. Yeah. It's we're having fun. At least that's the idea. Then you always go out there hoping to have fun. You know what I mean?
I would think.
It really works out that way, but then you still want to go back out. So
that's why I play 9. I find I have more fun.
18's a lot. I mean, it's especially if it's busy. You know what I mean? If you have to wait even a minute, that adds up. It's
nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than waiting on every shot. It's not that I'll leave.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
exactly. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's stuff like, I mean, how much does it cost to play like 9 out there?
I think most places like $20-$25.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nothing.
But I like to go, if I play 9, just go walk 9.
Yeah. I walk every time. I mean, I grew up with carts, and once I realized like walking is A, cheaper, and B, like way quicker.
Yeah.
I'm like walking for life kind of guy.
I love walking
the cart around, but at least when you're walking, it feels like you're doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the pace is better. The pace is more like, it feels more like a sport.
Yeah. And it forces you to like. I feel like a huge like underrated sort of thing that adds time while you're playing with the cart is I feel like if you slice a drive, hook or whatever, you kind of see generally where it goes. You're like, yeah, we'll drive over there and then we'll all work for it with a beer in our hand. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're walking, you're like, okay, it's there. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, that's the tree. Yeah, landed by.
Yeah.
Do you? So you took some time off. You weren't playing for a while. Obviously, living in Manhattan, and then because of COVID, you got back in it. Is it something that you think continue it?
Yeah. Like work depending sort of thing, you know. If I was to stay close and I'm like allowed to like work remotely forever, kind of for the old day job, then like 100%. You know what I mean? It's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's just like in New York, it's like tough. You know, I mean, you live here. It's like, you know, it's like you have to figure out like how you're going to get out to the course. You know what I mean? Because it's like you don't want to like take a cab out there. It's going to like end up being a $300 a day. You know, especially if you shoot like shit. Like that's extra thing. You know, it's like you're like
in the 12th hole and like it's all gone to shit. And you're like, I got to still fucking pay for a Uber back home now.
Oh, brutal. No, thank you. Yeah.
You drink when you play?
Depends who I'm playing with, but usually, yeah. Usually, I feel like if I'm playing 18, I don't touch anything on the front 9. I mean, do you drink when you play?
Yeah, it depends who I'm with.
Yeah. Do you feel like it helps?
I think there's a threshold. I think I think 0 drinks is not very good. From 2 to 4, I get better. And then as soon as I sip on the 5th one, it's done.
I agree. Like after a while too, and plus you're like usually in the sun and stuff.
Yeah.
As insult to injury. Because there have been times I've been like drinking where like the 16th hole, like I don't know how to use a driver anymore, which is like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, like there's been times where like on the back, like the back half of the back 9, I like can't function. Yeah. Sometimes my buddies will do like they'll play crazy drinking games too, like shots for a birdie, like or if you bogey, you have to shotgun like crazy stuff like
that. That's sinister for a bogey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or, forget what the rules or double bogey, you have to shotgun. If you lose the hole, it's a shot. Yeah, and you're just like, what are we doing this for?
How are you like in your friend group who you go out with though? Like in terms of like stacking ability? Are you?
I'm probably like I'm like top 2.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's a good place to be. You know?
Yeah. But there's a lot like, and they're like, but then when you suck, like my best friend Ryan like thinks I'm the greatest golfer on earth, right? Because he's not very good. So then he'll like have other friends that don't like that I don't know. And he'll like pump me up to him like, dude, he's like basically a pro golfer, man. And then I'll like shoot like an 85, and they're like, this guy sucks, but he'll shoot like 100 in his mind. That's like crazy. Yeah, you know what I mean.
85 is not bad if you can like reliably get that. You know what you're doing. You know,
I try to keep it. I try to keep it under 80. That's my goal. Try to keep it.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I haven't gone out a lot this year, like until I realized I could with COVID. But even then, I'm like hovering around, like on a good day, like early, low 90s, like on a good day.
Like
the thing is short game always. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't putt to save my life. That's my problem.
Really? You get Scotty Cameron, baby.
I know. I gotta get an upgrade.
It's great because when I went to the range in Maine has like a little chip and putt too. So I went to the range expecting fully like I'm gonna suck. I've been out in like a year. And I've been the driver in like first shot like 260 like dead straight, and I was like, I got this. It's like riding a fucking bike. And I hit the chip and putt. And it was like a disaster. Like they're like children on there. It's like kid friendly because it's a fucking chip and putt. And I'm like skying the green. Like,
yeah. It's like you forget how to like function, like do anything.
All the finesse goes away. It's crazy.
Well, that's what I like. Before quarantine, before the COVID, I was playing a little bit, and like I was like playing pretty well, and which is crazy. I was like, that's great. I haven't been playing a ton, but like I had 1-9. I was like even, and then I started playing a lot over quarantine, and that I started it good, and then the last like month, I can't break 80. I suck.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like rolling balls off the tee box. And so for the
worst feeling in the world. Oh,
yeah. So I'm just not going to play for a little bit, you know?
Sometimes what I need, you just need some, like, I swear to God, sometimes, like, if it's your first time out all year, it will sometimes be like one of the best rounds you hit all year.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're just like chilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't watch a ton of golf though, do you?
What's up?
You don't watch a ton of golf.
Not really. I used to. I feel like in like kind of like middle school, high school, I was way more into like the PGA Tour and like what's going on. Now it's like I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah. My mom uses it to watch to fall asleep too. It's like her big ass.
Ooh. PGA Tour, if you're listening. Ooh. Hurts hard. That cuts deep.
Yeah. I mean, I do enjoy watching it just because it's what I love about it is how fucking hard they hit the ball. Like it's crazy how much of their body they actually get into it. Like, do you like do that? Are you giving like full swings off the tee every time? Are you trying to kill it or? Yeah.
And then I usually roll it off the tee.
Sometimes it's like like at the range I can do it, but like I feel like when I'm actually on the course, it's like I'm more focused on just like nice drive, keep it straight, like legit contact as opposed to like putting my whole body into it. My ex-girlfriend, her younger brother played in like a Masters qualifying tournament. He's insane at golf. And like it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Like literally, like you know, he's probably like 10 years younger than us. Literally, like his backswing was like to here, like whole body off the tee, like was driving it like almost 400, like insane after it rolled.
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean,
like that.
I think like, I probably hit one straight drive all summer. Like
really,
like went straight and like I've hit in the fairway, but it never goes straight, man.
See, that's what I care about more, though. You know what I mean? It's like I got over like one of the best. Because did you take lessons? Did you learn how to golf, or you just like school of hard knocks sort of?
I took lessons when I was young, but not since like I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah. I took them when I was a little older than that, like 10, 11, 12. But I like did them every Sunday, sort of thing. And that was the thing that like basically like the golf the golf pro at the club. He was like the main thing. He was like if you're ever having like a bad day out there, he was just like think like 3/4 swing, 3/4 speed, and he was like, your shot will be corrected within like a hole. Yeah, and that always stuck with me because I feel like it does. Like it's like I feel like if you're having a heavy fade, heavy draw, or you're like clipping the woods like every other time, or like fucking grounding out of the tee box. You don't do that. Like you hit it straight, all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do this like efficiently, not just
Anytime I try to like really
how sexy the shot can be.
Well, then you realize like, and not to knock pros, I think golf pros are like the unsung heroes of the world, like but like these guys are also like you're getting these swing tips from this guy, probably a little hungover, you know. And
respect. What a life though, that rocks.
So I wrote a pilot about a golf course, and it's all because of my time in New York. Because there was this pro that he lived in Manhattan, and he worked. He would come and do lessons at our store, and he was the most interesting person I have ever met in my life. Like he was like very good at golf, like great. He played a couple of PGA Tour events. I think he played in the U.S. Open, but he just couldn't get it together. Like like you name the vice and he had it, you know, kind of thing.
And I feel like there's something that's like a great like romantic figure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was such a I was enamored with him. Like he was such a romantic figure to me where like you rooted for him, you know, you were just hoping because he would still do like senior open qualifiers and stuff like that.
How old was he?
Like probably like 55 or something. Okay. And he had a son and he loved his son to death. And, you know, I think he had an ex-wife and it was just like the guy that you were just like rooting for. And he was such a good guy and so good at golf. Like he would hit balls and it was just like, this is insane how good you are at this. Yeah. How are you not like a multi-millionaire?
Yeah. I think it's like you turn that corner, I feel like, as like something I've never mastered, like playing the game essentially for my whole life. It's like not only getting the direction you want it to go in, but like getting it to literally just like hit where you need to. Like, like they have that extra like range of depth. Like it's like laterally, I think it's like once you can figure that out, you're going to be a good golfer. But if you can like nail depth perfectly and have it like you're set.
Yeah, and that was like, he didn't practice a ton. Like I remember he would come in like if he would like always like try to qualify for the senior open or the senior open. Yeah. Or the British senior open. And he would come in like a couple of days before, hit a couple balls on the simulator.
Literally on the simulator, that's how it warms up.
Yeah. And like, I don't know what else he did outside, but
yeah.
And like when he would go to the qualifier, we would like try to follow it on real time on the computer. And just like everybody's pulling. It was like,
that rocks.
Yeah.
Dude.
And the stories you would tell.
Rock. I feel like that's like perfect, like cool head energy.
Yeah, dude. He was, I miss him actually. I miss that dude.
Yeah.
Did you play in high school?
I played in high school. I never like played on the team. So I tried out for the team. I made it, but I was like so like not a team sport guy. I was like super like punk rock. I was super like, thought I was so cool for school. So I did pretty well. I made it like the second round, and then literally after that, I was just like, I don't like this because I didn't like the kids. Like they were like annoying. They were preppy. But yeah, it was. And I remember my parents were very pissed about that. Like the one sport that like we've been like encouraging you to do your whole life, the only one you seem to like.
Yeah.
You get an opportunity to actually like do it for something, and you walk.
Do you wish you did it?
In hindsight, I don't really care. I mean, like because I still played. I played for myself, and like not really. I feel like I wouldn't have liked it. I feel like dude, Southern Connecticut, it was just like not.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
It's like a lot of preppy, well-to-do sort of, just not. It wasn't my scene. And the thing is too, it's like then I think in the back of my head too, I was worried. It's like if it becomes like really competitive, what if I end up not liking it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
It was always something like golf is always something. It's like that's something you do on your days off for the enjoyment of it.
Right.
Like there's nothing better. You know what I mean? I love just going out and just enjoying the day and just like trying to get beat yourself. So actually, like at a competitive level, I think I maybe made that excuse for myself. But yeah, I never played on the team or anything like that. No.
And then what made you like want to work at a golf store? Did you seek that out, or is it kind of like, well, this is an opening, so let's just go? Yeah. And you were with our other friend Glenn too, right?
Yeah. I got him in literally every job I've had in my entire life. I just get Glenn hired within like the next like month or so. He like it's a delicate ecosystem, and he swims in the wake of mine because we're best friends or whatever. But yeah, literally I was just looking for a job, like for a summer job between my like freshman sophomore year of college, and I just saw a golf store was hiring, and I was like, hell yeah, I can do that. Especially because I knew they make commission on the club sales. And they had this whole like process to be passed for it or whatever. So I just applied as a cashier. So I was like, yeah, I can cashier. I've worked since I was like 12 years old. I've never like not had a job, especially mostly food service. So like I was qualified and I got that. And immediately was just like, how do I get, like passed for the test? So I did like some very basic research on clubs, but the main thing is I could, for golf club sales, it's like, as long as you know what the brand is bringing to you, the main thing what people want is to go to the simulator and have you like talk about their swing.
Right. Yeah.
If you need to hit it, you can hit it well too. You know what I mean? As long as you can do that, you're set. So and I think it was cool, because you get to like work around golf for a summer. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't afford to necessarily go out every day. It's like, I still can like hit balls in the simulator, like while I'm at work. Like that's pretty fun.
The only drawback is like the people sometimes that you have to deal with.
But then you like cool one too, and you can like understand like when you see someone who's like better than you, you start to it's like how'd you do that? You know what I mean? Like,
Did you have a pro there?
What's up?
Did you have a pro on site?
We did on the weekends. He would like come in. Once again, it was like kind of like what you're saying earlier, like a guy who's kind of like a cool, like, probably retired golf pro or like almost at that level in terms of like he maybe never like made it as a club pro, but like had the kind of residual skill. It was like him and like the club maker that I mentioned earlier were like the cool, it's like cool old guys. It's like, there's the attitude I like. And then also like surrounded by like just like some scummy ass people who were there for deck.
Just always smoking weed. Like
there was that. The lady who was like in charge of the apparel section was like a former cop, and she was like a psychopath.
How do you become what has to happen for you to be a former cop? Did she like get her badge taken away?
Dude, I wish I asked more questions back then. I think she was just retired and doing this. Like, I don't know. But you think like don't cops get pensions?
Yeah.
So maybe she was disgraced, man. I don't know. I'm gonna look up her rap sheet. I just remember
have you followed like? Do you know what Juice is up to right now?
Dude, actually, it's funny you said, like Glenn and I, who we were talking about earlier, we're talking about the other day, like, I wonder, like, what happened, because, like, Juice was a sad guy. G was kind of sad, too. As I said, they both like rap, and G, like, was really into freestyling, but G would have, like, really self-defeating raps. He was like, I'm, like, 24, still working at this golf store, going to kill myself. But
they would rap.
It was, like, really, like, kind of good. But I don't know. I'm, like, friends with him on Facebook. It seems like he turned his life around. He's, like, engaged. He's really into skydiving, but he seems, like, happy. But Juice is a mystery. I don't know, man. The only thing he was good at, yeah, he was good at, like, Street Fighter on, like, Sega. I think that's, like, the only thing he was good at. But,
so these guys actually rapped. They didn't just like rap; they rapped.
They love freestyling.
They freestyle at work.
Oh my god, yeah, dude, yeah. And G's like raps were always like literally about like not being happy where he was in life and like killing himself, but it was very funny. I don't know why I was like laughing every time. He's like, he's got to slip my throat. He'd always like do that, you know, pounding like he's like, got to slip my throat. The clock is ticking. Like he just says, and I would like scream laugh, you know,
in front of customers.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it was funny. He would like be like that, you know. He'd be like getting like, you know, really into his like rap like kind of voice, and then he'd be like, "How you doing, sir?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and he was great. He was like a great salesman. He was like their lead salesman. He was like their golden boy. Yeah. He had
probably been a multi-millionaire if he sold like real estate. He'd be like a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. Just like for some reason they get to work at the cars. And that was the thing too. I was like, "Do you golf?" He's like, "Hell no, man!" Like he like learned what he had to say. But he was pretty good at putting because, as I said, we'd take like Scotty Cameron's out after hours, like from the used session, like golf with them.
But how did it? So let's talk a little bit about comedy. Then when did you start? Were you doing comedy while you worked at the golf store?
I think I might have done like a bringer or two in Manhattan, like while I was there that summer. I first did comedy like at a bringer show when I was 16 years old because I took a comedy class at like Caroline's.
Oh, nice.
I had a friend of mine who his parents were like rich or whatever. And he's a screenwriter out in LA now. Very funny, very talented guy. But like his parents were like, "Oh, you should take a comedy class in Manhattan, try stand up." And she was like, and they're like, "We'll just pay for your friends to go." And he was like, "Oh yeah, you're funny. Come with me." So me and him went out there. And we got to do like a bringer when I was like 16 years old. So like, and it was pretty crazy. Mike Birbiglia was on it, Ted Alexandro. The people were like still around. And oddly enough, I did a bar show, and actually, the woman who taught our class was on like the bar show that I was on. And I was like, here we were like 10 years later.
Can you name names?
I don't want to because she bombed, and I was kind of like, I was like, I did better than. I was like, well, the student has become the master. I can tell you after the cast. But I did that, and then actually from the bringer at the time. Because we did, I did like pretty well. I was so bad, dude. Like back then, I literally was so naive that I thought like comedy was literally improv. I thought like, we watch a comedy special. Like I was like, yeah, they're just funny people. They just get up there and they like riff it out. You know what I mean? I literally did that. I would go up there and just like did not work on anything. Like I just like started like ranting about.
Well, I thought you did something. You talked about something different every time.
100%. And but I didn't like I kind of knew what I was going to talk about, but like I would also like do just crowd work for the most part because I thought that's like what you did. Like it was. I'm sure like if I saw a video of it right now, I'd want to kill myself. It's so bad. But like through that though, like Caroline's back then, the booker like took a shine to me. So like every once in a while, like once a month or so, they were like, "Hey, we have a spot open on the bringer show. You didn't have to bring anyone if you want to come do like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or host." Yeah. And like I also, so I went to school for acting. So like at the time I like was like stand up is like a diversion, you know, like I thought like, you know, if I kept rolling with that, who knows what would have happened.
Right.
But then I stopped doing it for a bit. But then like over the summers, I would come back and do like spots here and there, like if I could. But I didn't really get back into it until like my 20s, I would say. That was when I was like, oh, let's try this again.
And then that's kind of, was that when we met?
Yeah, around there. I mean, like definitely, I think I met you when I was back in it probably like 2-3 years. Because we met in like what, 20 like
13 maybe?
Yeah, so I probably went back at it like seriously for like 2 years.
I miss those old for me the early New York City days. Like
the best. Oh my God. Just going from mic to mic. Yeah. Also, I guess I'm not sure if everyone who listens to this is like more golf or comedy oriented, but I guess for those who don't know. At a certain point in New York City, there was just every other bar just had comedy open mics. I think it was somewhere around 2014, 2015, where like there had to be 80,000 wannabe comedians in New York. It was unreal. It was unreal. You could hit 5 open mics at a night and literally just performing for other comedians.
Yeah, it's the same group of people would go.
Yeah.
The same 12 people would just go to the different bar, do it again.
It's going to be like a different scene, kind of. And and then I was like only doing Manhattan for the most part. And then like apparently in Queens and like Brooklyn, these were all happening also. So dude,
you haven't been doing it.
No, well, there's nowhere to do it. You know what I mean? It's great. I definitely feel for the people who like literally this is their sole living right now, and like there's nothing to do. I guess it isn't necessarily essential. So, but then I see some people where it's like maybe this was the time to hang it up, and they're just not doing it, and they're just like making like TikToks and like Instagram. I'm like you don't like have to create content, right?
Right. You could just consume.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's just like sometimes. The best comedy is when you have the actual idea for like, hey, this would be funny, let's do it. Not like, oh fuck, no one's heard from me in 3 days online. Like, better come up with like a good gimmick, Yeah, when you're getting paid to do comedy like on a schedule, like some bad stuff happens. I mean, look at Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a diamond in the rough to find the good sketches. When they're great, but it's a lot of filler because it's like just being like, okay, make funny, and it has to be this week,
Yeah, every week make something good.
Yeah.
Do you miss it? Do you think when the world starts opening up, you'll go back to it?
I think so. I definitely miss. I miss that energy. I miss being on stage in front of people, and just having a nice creative outlet. You know what I mean? I think that's like really like what I think I miss most about it. And I mean, you're performing again, right? Things are at least
starting to a little bit. Yeah.
But is it outdoors?
Yeah, I did one indoors like last night, but
that's all spread out, right?
Yeah, it's
I feel like the whole atmosphere to make comedy is just not something that can happen right now.
It's
like people packed in.
Right. What's allowed is like hard for. It's not a conducive environment to stand.
Yeah, I remember I did that show with you out in Lehigh Valley, but it was like in kind of like that barn theater thing.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I mean, I've acted in a bunch of theaters where you get laughs, like like if you're playing a comedic part. But I've never done like stand up in a room built like that. And I remember like I did like my first joke, and it was like an opener, and it was pretty like vanilla. I'm like, we'll get a laugh. And at first I was like, oh my god, am I bombing? Because it like the room like
you can't tell,
and then it kind of like slowly rolls to you.
Yeah, that's what happened with me. Like, and you know how I am with stand up. Like if I'm very quick to just start shitting on me and hating everything I'm doing. So, like, I would like do a show. I like the show I did on Friday. I'm doing my stuff, and I did a lot of new stuff, so I don't know if it's funny. And so I think it's not going well. I'm like, fuck this, I suck. Like I got to go back to college, and everybody hates me. And everybody's like, what? Why are you? It was going fine. Why are you doing that? I'm like, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you want that instant gratification sort of thing. Yeah. And then the laughter doesn't stack, because laughing is also like contagious. So you want that sort of. It's weird to me that also like most comedy specials are filmed in theaters. Like I always feel like that's like not a great environment for it.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Probably because like it looks better. I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, it's probably easier to get nicer shots. It's designed for.
Yeah.
You could probably charge more for a ticket, frankly, too. Well,
a lot of them they're just free tickets.
Yeah, just for the free taping and things like that. Yeah,
and it probably sounds better. Like there's more people, so the laughs are more. I don't know.
And I guess from a filming perspective, it's probably better because it's like if you do it in a club, you're gonna have like waiters and waitresses going everywhere. I remember Bill Burr's like first like tape special. Like you literally hear a receipt printer going off like every
yeah,
which I love. But
I love that too. Like there's that. All right. Well, what do you think? You think you're obviously gonna golf before you do stand up again?
100%. Yeah. They're kind of similar, aren't they? Because it's like everyone kind of sucks at it for at least 5 years until you get.
Yeah.
We could do this, So
it ends up like it's just only fun after 5 years. If you haven't made it, you just kind of just want to do it with your friends.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I'll probably do this forever until I die, even if like I am not great at it.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting better. That's all that's important.
Yeah. I'll probably just have to do it like once a weekend when I have children,
Yeah. And they're also similar in the sense that it's like you had one time where you were excellent at it. And because of that one time, you'll do it.
What's your favorite set and what's your most excellent golf experience?
What was the first question? Sorry.
Favorite comedy experience, like your best, like.
Oh man, I think my favorite. I'll do the golf one first. That's a little more, I think, less dynamic. But when I was like 14, that club that I mentioned earlier, my parents were like trying to like get on the guest list for and eventually get into. They had an invitational father-son tournament, and I won the closest to the pin tournament. Which it was the first par 3. It was the 8th hole. It was 168 yards, and I blasted an 8-iron, and it landed about 2 feet in front of the hole. And one of the few times I've gotten to stop on the dime like a pro, and I rolled back a good like foot and maybe and change, and then I just had an easy birdie putt in. But they measured each shot on that hole throughout the whole tournament, and I won it, and I won like an actual like trophy for it. It was the first time I'd ever won anything athletic competitively, remotely resembling that. My dad was like a former D1 football and rugby player too. Like was very much like one of those guys, and I was like a theater punk kid. You know what I mean? So it was a very like real moment. He was really proud. I was really happy. Yeah, and we never spoke about it again. So that was probably my favorite golf moment ever. And then comedy wise, definitely. I mean, there are a bunch of like great sets that I've had where I'm like, wow, that was great. Every joke landed. The audience like loved me. I improv'd a few times and it went great. Like you're really in the moment. But that's kind of boring. I think my favorite thing is I was at the Grizzly Pear one time hosting a midnight show, and a food fight just happened while I was hosting. Like literally, like one guy at the table starts like throwing like mashed potatoes or some shit. I don't even think they serve mashed potatoes there. But, like, I don't know, like at this guy across the room, the other guy started throwing drinks to them while I'm trying to do bits. And then like I literally just started addressing what's going on in the room. And at one point on stage, I just like I couldn't control the chaos. People were so drunk, they were like going nuts. And I think at one point I was like, this is my life right now. This is my fucking life. Moved to the city to do this, and they stopped like kind of fighting for a minute, and we're like, yeah, like they're like, this sucks. So that was that stands out.
Well, try to explain if somebody doesn't know. Most people don't know what the Grizzly Pear is, but set that scene as well as you can. Okay,
so the Grizzly Pear, it's in the West Village, which I think a lot of people, I think even if you're not super familiar with New York, is like, considered kind of like the comedy hub. Mainly because the Comedy Cellar is there, but then there are a bunch of comedy clubs in the area too. But some of them aren't really comedy clubs. They're restaurants/bars that just happen to have a stage in the back. So then they function as comedy clubs. So basically comics, in order to get stage time, stand on the corner and just lie and basically try and present it like it is the Comedy Cellar. Like, hey, Louis C.K. and Jerry Seinfeld are going to be there. They might be. Basically just preying on tourists so they can go up there and work on their 5 minutes about like how like my family's crazy and shit. It's brutal. But the Grizzly Pear is a weird one because it's a bar. They do have food, but they run comedy shows every hour. It's crazy, and they're not run by the club. Like they're not run by the bar itself. They just have comics every hour trying to run their own shows to work on stuff and get people. And I think I've had two. I think I've done 2 shows there ever where I'm like, wow, that was like an actual show. Like people were there. They were
yeah.
Usually it's just like drunk mayhem.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect. Well, it's just going to be insanity.
Yeah, or nothing. Or most of the time it's just like, or this is basically an open mic. You know what I mean? How many times have you been on that show where it's like, the second comic walked the room. Like everyone's we're still going to keep going, so there's a lot of that. And I'm not saying like I'm above it, but God, there's a certain tone to that.
A lot of the times I've been that second comic that just walks the room.
Everyone's like, yeah, fine. A lot of times the people who came in there don't speak English. Like most of the time. They're just like, I was told Louis C.K. Like, I don't know. Like, and then they're on vacation. They don't want to do that.
And then they get mad at you. Like you're on stage, they're expecting Louis C.K. or Dave Chappelle, and they're mad at you. You're like, I'm sorry. I didn't lie. That guy out there lied.
It's also a lot of those places too. It's like they weren't expecting to watch comedy, stand-up comedy that evening. And also those shows, especially usually the ones like produced at the Grizzly Pear, are like, it's like, okay, there are 35 comedians on the show. No one wants to watch 35 comedians. They want to watch like 2 or 3 maybe. But it's almost like a hostage show in a weird way. So.
It's now that I've like stepped away from New York a little bit. Yeah. And I look back, I have very fond memories, like because of these things. But I also think how crazy it is what was going on.
Oh
Like
my God.
the fact that we were doing that and like the next night being like, we're going to do that again is insane to me.
And we did like 3 of them a night. I remember there'd be nights where we'd go like walk from the East Village because there'd be like Revision, like a show for like friends, kind of like a show in a bar. And then it's like, all right, let's try to hit the pair at 9 p.m. Like one of us is on the show, and even if you're not on the show, it's like I'll hang around and hope they ask me to host. It's just this like craven stage time thing. It's like, are you really learning from it? You know?
Yeah.
But once again, it's like when there are 80,000 people in one city who all think they're going to be the next, Dave Chappelle. Right. Everyone's fighting for stage time. So it was a weird time, weird environment.
I do have fond memories of it though. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
I'm not sure if it's because I'm like out of it now, and now it's like mostly when I do shows, I'm just doing friends, bar shows or whatever it is. Just like people have me on because then it's like you're not like hustling for mics and stage time as much anymore. But I feel like it's kind of gone away a little bit. Like at Beauty Bar, like which is like a mic / show. Tyler and I used to do a lot, but like by the end of it, they were kind of like the newer crop coming in. There were like these like 23, 24-year-old group of like comics coming in with like totally different takes on stuff, different subject matter. But it sounded like they weren't like hitting the mics as hard. It sounds like they would hit 1 or 2, but like for the most part, they're just hanging out at the creek in the cave. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. That could just be my perception because now I'm older and like
right. And that's like we could just be out of touch, but there seemed to be. And not to knock it because I never did whatever it took to get booked, but it seems to be more of an emphasis on like hanging out and
which is good because I think that's the best way to do it. And because even if you're friends with 10 people, if they're all really trying at it, one of them's going to do relatively well, and usually that's frankly the reality of life. If one of them does well, and they actually like you, you're going to swim in their wake a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of communicatively getting better, but like,
we have a couple that we're trying to.
I can think on one, think of how many comedians and actors there are that do well just because, it's not like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you actually kind of have to be good. You know? A lot of it's just kind of like, it's subjective. And, if enough, you're around people who are successful, you'll kind of get successful too.
I guess that's
it works for like jobs too.
Yeah. I guess that's the main difference with golf, though. You can't really fake it.
Yeah, you can't just like be friends with Tiger Woods.
It's not like Tiger Woods' childhood friend. It's like also on tour.
Yeah,
he's shooting like 95. Like, we're gonna keep him around.
He's working on. It's subjective. He's not for everybody, but
his name is Juice.
Yeah,
but I guess there is some people that adjacent have careers in golf because of being associated with, like Scott Van Pelt interviewed Tiger, like had a great interview with Tiger Woods, like early on, and that's his career. It made his career. So.
As long as you're actually playing the sport, what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were a caddy with a lot of personality, you can get your own reality TV show or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like all of a sudden you're an announcer because people remember who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it reminds me of like Kato Kalin, but whatever happened to him? You know what I mean? That guy was the perfect example. That was the guy in like O.J. Simpson's backyard.
Oh.
And he was like a wannabe actor. It's like, man, it's like, I want to be successful to be someone's Kato Kalin. I think that's a good life goal.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, he was like the first should have turned reality TV show, star guy,
Isn't that crazy that he's kind of Kardashian adjacent too?
Yeah, they all are. It's crazy that it all comes back to the Kardashians.
Yeah. Are they the Illuminati?
Are the Illuminati real? I feel like they're not.
They're real.
I mean, if they are real, then yes, definitely. They have to. Like, no one can get that famous for doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's the way. I mean, that's the dream. Everybody knocks on them.
My dad represented a murderer, and now, I'm famous. Like, that's your whole hook. Yeah. And they have, an empire. So, I don't know.
It's like all the children are billionaires right now, except Rob. He's like the only one.
How many of them are there? I didn't know.
There's a dozen or two, I think.
Yeah. But it's all Kim and Chloe, right? That's the whole. See, I'm so out of touch. I literally sound like a fucking grandpa right now. Not a good.
I don't know either, and I truly, I can't begin to care about the Kardashian family.
Yeah. I don't know, and I don't want to know. but then I feel like you get shamed if you don't know. Like when I literally I'm like, I've never watched that show. They're like, people are like, okay, what, took over school? I'm like, no, so.
I've been busy watching, Tiger King.
See, I feel like that shows proof of the Illuminati. You come with the best viral show ever right as this pandemic hits.
Yeah. Or would the Tiger King doc, would that have been less successful had we not gone into a pandemic?
It would have been way less successful. Like, I mean, they got it right at the time. It's like everyone's locked down, and look, it's the only new show on Netflix. And
how many documentary filmmakers or like conspiracy theorists are like, if I just would have released mine, like the 9/11 one,
mass consumption. If Ken Burns released Civil War the day this stuff hits, like, yeah, people would have watched it, but I don't think it would have had the Twitter effect.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Pete. Well, dude, thanks for doing this, man.
Damn, pleasure. Damn, it's like an hour. Insane. I hope people enjoyed this.
They will. They will enjoy it, and if not, we will find them.
Yeah, damn straight. Invite them to our golf stores. We should just open a golf store. If comedy doesn't work out, we'll just open Tyler and Pete's golf store.
That's That's a good.
Manhattan and Pennsylvania. That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, and we only sell Scotty Cameron putters. That's all we do.
Yeah, stolen Scotty Cameron putters from the used bin. Yeah.
So where can people find you? Some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had more to promote right now. I actually did do a feature film, my first feature film ever, but it's still in post production, and I don't think I can necessarily promote it right now. But have me back on, I'll promote that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to watch me just post terrible stuff online, you can get me on Instagram or Twitter at Prison Pete.
Prison Pete, folks.
Prison Pete. Gotta love the alliteration and the ominous tones of prison.
He's going to be channeling his inner juice for sure.
Yeah, my inner juice. Yeah. No rapping yet, but we'll see. No.
If you ask him kindly enough, he might do the cheese bit for you.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that, but yeah, feel free. It's mostly it's what my life has been for the last 7 years. People, ironically or unironically, I don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know anymore. It doesn't.
Yeah. Dude, last time we did the Karma show, literally at I went on last, and people were chanting cheese. And I was like, you actually want to hear it? Like, what jokes are going to be? Yeah, it's in my Twitter bio. People choose to follow me, but I wrote a joke about cheese once, and it ruined my life. I can't know if it was bad or it was good. It's just a thing, I guess. So.
I disagree, man. I disagree. I think it's it made your life. You made it. If people are chanting cheese at you, you have made it.
Yeah. But it's all comedians who know all the words, ironically. Which also, like, for the real people of the show, they're like, what's going on?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on?
A rocking horror style thing where we're supposed to participate. What is this? Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for doing it. We'll have you back, and we'll play golf soon.
Yeah, that stuff will go out. I think that would be good.